has been really influenced by Mary Lou Weidman, who is, I call her the queen of story quilts. And she says if you went into your grandma's attic after she died, and there were 12 quilts, and 11 of them were beautifully pieced and appliqué, traditional, and then one of them captured a moment in her life, which one would you want? Of course you want them all, but she's really influenced me, and I've had so much fun making story quilts. This one is to celebrate my sister and her family. As far as how the quilt was made, the first 15 years of my quilting life, I was trying to perfect matching points, making everything look exactly like the pattern. The first day I took a Mary Lou class, they're all wonky and the points don't match and they're cut off, and this is a churn dash like you've never seen before, and there was like smoke coming out of my ears. I had a hard time. The second day I started to get into it, and it's really fun. It's liberating. I think it would be a fun way for a beginning quilter to just have fun. Those stars are happy stars, and I don't care if the points are all wonky. My little log cabin over there is all crooked, and she doesn't even worry so much about how is this border going to be long enough for the quilt. If it's not, you just throw in, you sew some strips together, slice them in chunks, and put them, wherever you need that ½ inch. It adds color, and it's just really fun.
Like a tractor.
Oh, it's a wheelbarrow.
A wheelbarrow, okay.
So this is to celebrate my sister. This is my sister, Jane. This is her partner, Chris. And they had a wedding a long time ago. And this is a copy of the front of their wedding invitation. So I took the girls from the wedding invitation to put on the quilt. And Mary Lou says when you do a story quilt, you gather 30 ideas that have something that's meaningful to that person or that family or whatever. And so she gave me a whole list of things. One of them was a wood spirit. They spent some time in Austria, and there are beliefs over there that evil spirits live in wood. And you've heard the saying, knock on wood. And so the idea of the wood spirit is that you put this ugly, scary face, and it's supposed to scare away the evil spirits. And so they brought some back with them that people will hang, by their front door and whatever. So that got stitched in. They live on a farm. They have horses and sheep and lots of chickens. This is their kitchen. They always have baby chicks, and when they get big enough, then they go out in the yard and run around. My father was a tire salesman. The tire swing represents my father. My mother loved pink and loved roses, so this pink rose represents her. There are always cats in the house. I have found the one whom my soul loves was inside of I think the program for their wedding. They wanted to have a family, and Jane went through in vitro, and they implanted 5 embryos. And I think they're much more successful than they were 17 years ago. They had planned to implant 4, but she only had 5, and it's like, do they freeze that last one? So they went ahead and implanted 5. She went home, and the drugs wore off, and it was like, oh my goodness, that's a basketball team, what am I going to do? So anyway, before enough time had passed that she could have a pregnancy test, somebody from her church invited her to come to their prayer circle. The woman said they'd had great success in helping people get pregnant, and so Jane said, well, what have I got to lose? So Jane went with the women in the prayer circle. Chris went golfing with one of the husbands. And so Chris was on the golf course, and they heard this whoosh, and there were 3 hot air balloons above them,
It has been brought to our attention that back at the loading docks, there's a black Volkswagen and the lights are on.
Oh,
So if anybody belongs to the black Volkswagen back by the loading dock, your lights are on.
and then a couple minutes after they saw these three, way off in the distance, they saw two. And Chris knew two of them didn't make it. And so these are the triplets. And they're now 17 years old, which is pretty amazing. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We do have a little bit of rainbow striped, but just a touch here and there. Mary Lou's hearts are fun to make, so I made one block with the 3 little hearts and the 2 bigger ones, and I cut out P.S. I Love You from the fabric I have from that. Falling stars were on their list. I don't remember what the significance was for that story. There was also something about a big tree, and then roots, meaning roots. Any questions?
Beautiful. And
Thank you.
Did you do the quilting
I
on
did
it?
everything.
You did everything
Yes.
on it, the quilting.
Free motion quilting has become my favorite part. I mean, I love the designing, I love choosing the fabrics and the colors, but the quilting is like my reward for having done all the work to put it together, and I really, really had fun with that. I struggled trying to figure out what color thread to use for the sky. I had tried some aqua and turquoise and different things, and this one is actually very, very light pastels. It's pink and blue and purple, I think, but it does the job.
The tree. That's it. Yeah.
I love leaves. I've discovered that if you stitch a motif often enough, it gets to be easy, and I can put leaves on anything. So that was.
And what did you decide for your backing?
What did I decide? Oh, well, originally I thought I might be quilting in a lot of different colors, and I wasn't sure what the bobbin threads would be, and so I wanted something that was printed so that I wouldn't see red here and blue there and whatever.
That's pretty. I love the hot air balloons. I love that.
I do too.
I love it.
I think it's really sweet.
I love your colors.
I love clear, I love saturated colors. Yes.
Your colors pop.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's the term, pop.
well, a friend of mine was here, well, Sue Pepachek was here yesterday with her 7-month-old granddaughter, and when they got to my quilt, her granddaughter was like fixated
The colors.
and looking at the faces and didn't want to leave, so I thought that was really sweet.
That's a beautiful quilt.
Thank you. I actually started it in 2004 and worked on it for a while, and then it got set aside for a while, and then tried again, and then it got set aside.
Well, you do start with your solid pieces like
Yes.
that, and then applique your.
Right. Well, the way Mary Lou does it is that you start with the blocks,
Okay.
and then you sew them onto your background, and then she says the work is done, because that's the part where each block is like the last, and then you can start with the applique, and you can continue to add things as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So her thought is that the reason we have a lot of UFOs is that we get excited about the pattern, and we make a block, and it's like, oh yay, we like this, and then we make another one, and then we make another one, and another one, and then your mind starts thinking creatively what the next project is going to be. Whereas with this one, by the time you get tired of making stars, you're done. And then how do you like this flying piece, and so those are fun, but those are the work part. And then with the background, your creative mind can continue to work. The cat in the window, I added the day before the quilt came, because you can just keep adding things. I think a lot of people may look at this and think that this is the girl and these are the 2 boys, but this is the girl, and Lucas loves pink and he doesn't care, he knows it. So I'm really happy that it's finished, and I think they have, they're renovating an old farmhouse, and it has a wonderful staircase that has a landing and goes around. So in that spot, the landing is where they're going to put it. Because I was asking her, how much wall space do you have? How big can I make this? And I can make it big, so I can't wait to see it.
Beautiful. That's pretty.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
I was